Good morning. Yesterday I went to fill up a little bird house in my front yard with bird feed, and I found a nest, and a baby bird was squeaking from inside of it. I hope you are also finding whimsical delights like these in your own life. You are listening to The Morning 5. I'm Haley Byrd Wilt, filling in for your regular host Michael Ware while he's traveling. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2026. Let's start with a reading from Luke 7. Soon afterward he went to a town called Nain, and his disciples and a great crowd went with him. And as he drew near to the gate of the town, behold, a man who had died was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow, and a considerable crowd from the town was with her. And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her, and said to her, "Do not weep." Then he came up and touched the bier, and the bearers stood still. And he said, "Young man, I say to you, arise." And the dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Fear seized them all, and they glorified God, saying, "A great prophet has arisen among us, and God has visited his people." And this report about him spread throughout the whole of Judea and all the surrounding country. May God bless the reading of his word. Well, friends, thanks for joining us today. We hope you've had a lovely weekend and that you're having a great start to your week. Let's catch up on the news together. First up, negotiations with Iran have not yet produced an end to the war there, with President Donald Trump saying yesterday that Iran's latest response to their diplomatic negotiations was, quote, unacceptable. He wrote, "I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it. Totally unacceptable." He also told reporters that the United States may resume hostilities against Iran this week if a deal is not forthcoming. Next, for today's quick updates, President Trump is set to visit China later this week. Grace Drexel, the daughter of Pastor Ezra Jin, who we told you about last week, said over the weekend that President Trump plans to bring up her father's case when he meets with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. She said in an interview that the decision brought her, quote, tremendous joy and hope that we've just not had since the beginning. Pastor Jin has been detained since October during a crackdown on Christians there in China. With that, let's get into our main story. We told you a couple of weeks ago about Virginia's vote to change its congressional maps in a bid to make 4 more House seats in the state likely to be blue in November. Virginia's top court weighed in on that plan on Friday, striking down the new map that was drawn by Democrats. Democrats had hoped their new map would counterbalance new Republican-drawn maps in red states such as Florida, Texas, and Tennessee, which aimed to wipe out solidly Democratic seats there. Now they're facing more of an uphill fight as they go into the midterm elections. I'll read briefly from a New York Times report about the court's decision. For generations, congressional maps have been drawn once per decade after the census to account for population shifts. But last year, President Trump started a rare mid-decade gerrymandering war when he persuaded Texas officials to draw a new map to help Republicans as they face midterm headwinds. California countered with a map favoring Democrats. Other red and blue states followed. After Virginia voters passed the map in a statewide referendum late last month, Democrats thought that they had battled Republicans to a draw, or that they had even eked out a small advantage. Then, as we told you about on this podcast, a ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court, which further weakened the Voting Rights Act, prompted several southern states to work to pass new maps that would favor Republicans. Now, the rejection of the new Virginia map means that, across the country, Democrats stand to lose half a dozen safe seats and possibly more from redistricting alone. Still, Republicans face a challenging political environment in their bid to retain control of their slim House majority. Mr. Trump's approval ratings have sagged as voters worry about the economy, the war with Iran, and high gas prices. In its 4-3 opinion, the Virginia Supreme Court wrote that Democratic legislators had violated the state's constitution with their move to enact a new map meant to give their party 10 out of the state's 11 U.S. House seats, up from the 6 it currently controls. Virginia voters had approved a constitutional amendment to allow for the map in the referendum. The Times goes on to note that Democrats spent nearly $70 million to approve that redistricting referendum. On a call over the weekend, Democratic lawmakers reportedly debated how to respond, either by challenging the decision before the U.S. Supreme Court or by, within the state, imposing a new retirement age limit for Virginia's Supreme Court justices to try to pack the court with redistricting-friendly justices instead. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries said after the ruling that the party is, quote, exploring all options to overturn this shocking decision. We'll stop there for today and go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Father, always near us, may your name be treasured and loved. May your rule be completed in us. May your will be done here on earth in just the way it is done in heaven. Give us today the things we need today, and forgive us our sins and impositions on you, as we are forgiving all who in any way offend us. Please don't put us through trials, but deliver us from everything bad, because you are the one in charge, and you have all the power, and the glory too is all yours forever, which is just the way we want it. Thank you for joining me today. As always, the Morning 5 is brought to you in partnership with the That Sounds Fun network and is supported by the Center for Christianity and Public Life. If you would like to learn more about our work at CCPL, you can visit ccpubliclife.org. We hope you have a marvelous Monday.